Yeah, good morning, everyone. So, yesterday we learnt about handling different data types we are learning. So, we discussed about use state in React, how to use this use state hook, and we learnt about handling number type and string type. Handling number and string type, how we deal with the numbers and strings. Some points I explained already. So here we are going to understand other data types, how to bind them. So data binding in React for various types of data is important. Remember, these are not examples because you are still not ready for designing any example in React. You are learning first how to bind the data, and you are learning how to bind different types of data. And yesterday we discussed about the number type and the string type, how to handle them. So what is new in data binding of number and string, some methods and all I explained. One more important, we discussed that in JSX you cannot have statements. Here you have to use everything using what? Operators. And when you are dealing with string methods, number related methods are same as in JavaScript. So today we will see other data types. So what are other data types and how to handle other? So in other data types, we will see today how to handle binding Boolean types. Last session we learned about number and a string. As I already explained, string handling is same as you done in JavaScript. String methods are all same. String formatting methods and string manipulation. How to bind Boolean types we will see. Actually, what is new here? Already you know Boolean type are defined with true or false. They are defined with true or false. And usually when you are dealing with Boolean types, in JavaScript, what additionally you learned is the Boolean can be represented with 0 and 1. False is 0 and true is 1. But in React, it is not recommended. So React will not recommend to use Boolean so with 0 and 1. With 0 and 1. Generally, you can do with JavaScript. 0 is equal to false and 1 is equal to true. So in React, it is recommended to use Boolean comparisons, Boolean types with just the keywords true and false. And one more important issue here is, so React cannot show the Boolean value. It can just use the value. This is another important point you should know. It cannot show the Boolean values. It can use the Boolean values. Actually, your JavaScript can show it. In your JavaScript, you are storing some Boolean value in a reference. It can show that Boolean value. Is it true? Is it false? But React cannot show the Boolean values. So here you cannot show Boolean values. You can just use them. So what does it means? For example, see here. I am creating, let's start this. So here we will see here what we have to do is let's create some reference. So constant and some product name and is equal to use state, and it is having some name, and we have constant stock is equal to use state. So we are having some Boolean true, that is a Boolean type, and we are trying to print these details. So product details, we are trying to print these details, data list, data term, the name and data definition. Here we want to display the name, and the name is, so the coming from where? Product name. What about the stock? Stock is coming from stock. So we need to just put that stock, and you can see that the product name is displayed. Let's run this. Product name is displayed, but stock is not displayed. Usually if you do the same in JavaScript, it will show the stock. It is going to show the stock as true or false. But in React, the Boolean values are not displayed. The Boolean values are not displayed. So it is not displaying the Boolean value. It is having true, but it is unable to display the Boolean value. So if anyone asks like, how do I show that value? Then you have to implement some logic technique. What is that logic is? How you show a Boolean value? You can write a ternary operator. So if stock is equal to what? True. Then question mark, you put the string called true. Otherwise you put the string called false. Then it is going to display that. You cannot show Boolean values. If you want to show the Boolean value, then you have to define this. Or you can use the value. Using the value is nothing but if it is true, we will put as what? Available. And if it is false, we will put as what? Out of stock. Then it is going to display accordingly. And remember, when you are rendering some output, you can render in any HTML element. That means I am rendering just a plain text. Instead of rendering plain text, many people have an habit of rendering like a span. In a span, we can apply. What is the advantage of rendering in that span? So that span here it is showing as it is. Why it is showing as it is? Because you learn in JavaScript like inner text, inner HTML differences you learned. Inner text will not allow the formats. Inner HTML will allow the formats. If you want to allow such rendering, later you will learn about conditional rendering. There you can do that. As of now, you just put some string. How you render some markup, you are going to learn in the next level. That means in one condition true, some markup will render. Another condition, another markup will render. For that, we need to learn some more point. Here, you can just put some string. So what is problem with Boolean in React? It cannot show the Boolean. We have to just use the Boolean. So syntactically, how you define here, constant some stock is equal to use state, and it is true. How you present it, if stock is equal to true, then you put here true. Otherwise you put here false. That's how we generally handle the logic. So that is only the new concept you need to understand about booleans. So in your JavaScript, what data types you have used the same type here also, but few changes. How you show them, how you present them, how you bind them. Here you don't need any DOM methods like get element by ID, tag name, not required. Just you can access the data and bind to the UI. This is Boolean type. And next, what you are having in the JavaScript data types, you have another data type. What is that data type? So undefined type, undefined type. We have undefined type, undefined type. Already you know undefined type is defined using undefined keyword. When undefined is returned in JavaScript, if a reference is created and there is no value, and then by default it will put as what? Undefined. Undefined. How you verify undefined? In JavaScript you learned. So how you verify undefined? So in JavaScript, how you verify undefined? Actually, suppose where I have price. In price, there is no value. How to check whether value is there or not? In JavaScript, how do you check whether a value is present or not? We use a simple condition price. This indicates whether a value is present or not. You learn now? No. So this verifies whether there is a value or not. If there is a value, it will return true. If there is no value, it will return false. So in JavaScript, we have to verify whether a value is provided or not, and we can do that simply by using this technique. Actually, you can use like this also. If price is equal to what? Undefined. If price equal to undefined means price is not defined with any value. If it is undefined, then you tell that please enter some price. But this is wrong approach because this is negative approach. Negative approach means you are verifying false, but it is always good to verify true. Then how to verify whether value is defined or not? For that, JavaScript uses this technique. This is right. You can, that means what this condition will do, it will return true if there is a value stored inside this price. Otherwise, it will return false. JavaScript people always use this technique for verifying whether a value is present or not. That is done for undefined types. You do that using undefined. You can use like this also by using undefined keyword. For example, you see now here, when I am defining some constant, some price is equal to use state, and I am not defining any price. And without defining the price, I am trying to print the price. Actually, if I print the price in your JavaScript, what it will print? It will print undefined. You know, na? In JavaScript, it will print the word undefined. And here it will not use, it will not display the word, but it will use that word. That means undefined is not shown to you, but undefined is used by React. Then how to verify whether it is defined or not? Usually we have an habit of writing a condition. What does it means? If price. If price means if there is a value in price. If there is a value in price, then print the price. If there is no value in the price, then say that price not defined. Use this technique. Then it says that price not defined. Price is not defined. Not defined means there is no value inside it. And if you mentioned some price, then what it is going to do, it is going to use that price. If you don't mention any price, then it is going to return not defined. That means in JavaScript based technologies, we can verify whether a value is defined in a variable or not just by using this technique. So that means in your JavaScript, actually you write like this: if price, it will return true if there is a value in price. So in JavaScript, it can show Boolean value. In JavaScript, it can show undefined value. But in React, it will not show them. It will just use them. So we have to verify whether it is true or false and display some message. We have to verify whether it is defined or not, then display some message. Whenever you are dealing with any reference which is not defined with any value, you have to follow this technique, right? So what is the new about undefined here is React will not display undefined value, will not display undefined value, but it can use the value. But it can use the type actually. It can use the type. So you can verify by using. So you can verify by using undefined or by using defined technique, undefined or defined technique. Syntactically, we have a constant price is equal to use state. Then in the paragraph, we are displaying price. Question mark, we are printing the price. Otherwise, we say not defined. This is the right way. You can use another technique also. Price is equal to undefined. You can write like this also. If it is undefined, use the word what? Not defined. Otherwise, you print the price. This is also possible, but this is not good. This is not good. This is actually good. That is not good. Already you know the programming techniques. Huh? Already you know the programming techniques. You learned in different occasions. Suppose you are learning any software programming, C, C++, Java, .NET, JavaScript, anything. Every software programmer knows that in real-time development, when we write programs, we have to write according to the standards. You cannot use your shortcuts and techniques in real-time programming. That is not suitable and not suggestible. That means usually people, when they learn different programming languages, they have to know that programming languages will have good and bad coding techniques. And who will verify whether your code is good or bad? Code analyzers, not compilers. Code analyzer. Compiler will verify is there any problem in your code. Whether your code is according to standards, have you written perfectly as per the standards or not? That is verified by using code analyzers. Every software programmer knows about code analyzing softwares. In real-time projects, we use them. Code analyzers are nothing but we have code analyzers like PMD, like Sonar, like ESLint. These are code analyzers. What these code analyzers will do is they will verify whether the developer written code is according to standards or not. If it is not according to standards, it report them saying that don't try this technique. It is not good for application. We call good code bad code. And usually I will tell you one point here. Suppose you are writing an if condition. If you written a condition and on true what should happen and else on false what should happen, you have to write this. Now the point is here, when you are writing like this, anywhere when you learn some programming language, somebody may tell you that you can write a if condition like this. If condition true and else what? False. What is difference here is, in the second case, this block is missing. Am I right? I am not using an curly brace. Block is missing. Is it valid? That is valid. It will work, but this is not recommended at all. That is not recommended. In official programming, this is not recommended. That is bad code. Why it is bad code? Because what is the purpose of this block? That indicates where compiler should start and where it should stop. Without writing that, what you are trying to tell? You are trying to tell that I won't tell where to start and stop. You guess. Seriously, you are wasting the time of compiler. And this is not a shortcut technique. This is completely nonsense code. We should not write like that. But everywhere you will learn this. But in real time, when you go to work in companies, your senior people who are guiding you in your projects, you are fresher. Some senior is monitoring you. That means team lead or project lead, somebody monitoring you. Do you know every day they scold you? They tell you that from where you learnt, man, this technology, who taught you this technology, why you are writing like this? Don't you know that this is not good code technique? But while you learn any technology to entertain you or to impress you, they will tell you some shortcuts in programming. They will tell you some tricks and techniques. That's what they say. But those tricks and techniques keep with you only. Don't implement in real world. You just get entertained with those tips and techniques. That's good. You get entertained, but don't try these in real time projects. Those are not good. So this is very important to know which one is good approach, which one is bad. You see, suppose I will show you these tools, like suppose we have a PMD. PMD is a code analyzer. This is one code analyzing software used in projects. Majority, you see now, this is a code analyzing software. Let's go to documentation. In the documentation, you can see rule reference. Rule reference is Java rules, JavaScript rules, all will come here. Every technology related rules are mentioned here. Suppose I open some rules, code styles, and in these rules you can see now, in the rules you can see this is okay and this is bad. Understood? But everywhere they will teach you this. Everywhere you are learning Java, you are learning .NET, you are learning some JavaScript. Everywhere they will teach you that without curly brace you can use. But the code analyzing software is telling that it is bad. And in real world, if you use these bad techniques, they mark this as bad code and they will not allow you to inject that code. This you may learn as shortcut or a trick or a technique in your learning levels, but this is officially not recommended to use. This is called bad coding. So code analyzing softwares will be there. You are learning Java or C++ or .NET or JavaScript. Always you have to learn the rules from these kind of softwares. You can come here, you can see the rules. You can read the rules. How to write a condition, how to write a loop. For everything, they mention some standards. Actually, in real-time projects, we integrate these tools in our softwares. Whenever we are writing, they will immediately prompt us saying that this is not good approach. Code analyzer is not a compiler to solve your problems. It is a analysis tool which verifies whether your code is written in good standard format or not. And that is the reason I have to explain you this point. Actually, undefined is verified by using which keyword? Price is equal to what? Undefined. This is also okay, but this is not recommended because verifying a negative approach is not good. Then how to verify whether it is defined or not? This is good. You can verify whether it is defined or not. This is one important about undefined type. How do you verify whether a value is defined in a reference or not? By using this technique, we can do that. Next important, you have null type. So what is difference between null and undefined? In JavaScript, when a value is not provided into a reference, it will return null and it will return undefined. What is difference? So already you know that in JavaScript at compile time a value is expected and it is not having a value, then it is marked with undefined. At runtime value is expected. That means sometimes we expect value at runtime. After compiling at runtime we expect value. Runtime means through text box, through prompt or some element you are expecting a value and they are not providing value. At runtime value is not provided, then it will not return undefined. It will return what? Null. At compile time value is not defined, then it will be undefined. At runtime value is not defined, then it will return what? Null. It will return null. Actually, you know that. So for example, you have used in JavaScript, you have used a prompt, am I right? Prompt. Suppose enter price. Now, when we asked this enter price, they are canceling this. That means price is not provided. At runtime, it is expecting price and price is not provided. Then usually it will not return undefined. It will return null. It is going to return null. This already you know in JavaScript. In JavaScript, undefined is returned at compile time and null is returned at runtime. At runtime, if a value is not supplied, then it will return null. At compile time, a value is expected and it is not defined, then it will return undefined. So if you are expecting a value into the reference, you see, I am expecting a value using a prompt. I am expecting, and through prompt is say enter what price. Then how do we verify null? If price is equal to, using which keyword? Null. If price is null, then you mention that price not defined. If price is not null, then print the price. Print the price. This is how we verify null. So always use a triple slash to verify, triple equal to verify, because double equal is not recommended for verification anymore. In JavaScript, you may use double equal, triple equal. Here also it works, but it is not recommended. Always use triple equal. What is triple equal? Identical equal. Identical equal means it will verify and compare only when both data types are same, right? Identical equal it is. Okay. Now you see here, this asking for price. I am not entering the price, then usually it will return price not defined. It will return price not defined. Suppose you are entering the price, and observe carefully. Here one point you will see, I entered price once. And again it is asking, enter price second time, it is taking it. Why it is asking two times? This will be a very important interview question also. In interviews, they will ask you like, why my program is compiling two times? Every time it will compile two times. In React, every time it will compile two times. And in interviews, they ask this even for experienced people, why my program compiles two times? That is nothing but actually the program is compiling two times for two environments actually. One is for development environment, another is for production. You know, every software development happens in three environments: development, quality, and production. Your React application is designed to compile two times. One for development, it will compile. After development, for production, it will compile. It will compile for development and later it will compile for production. Every time, two times it will do it. That's the reason React people are little bit confused while learning, because he will see that every action he given is working two times. Then an interviewer will ask like how to set up only one time. I don't want two times to execute. I want only one. Just you have to do one thing. You see now when I refresh, it is asking enter price. I entered the price. It will ask again. Again, I have to enter the price. It will take the first one. Why it is asking two times? Why? Because you have to just go there, index.js. In index.js, remove this strict mode. Remove that strict mode. If you remove the strict mode, now your program will compile only once. It will not compile two times. It will be only for development. Only one time it will compile. Now you will see that here it is asking price. I entered the price. It should take that price. We'll enter the price here. It should take the price. It will not ask two times. I entered the price one time, then it will take. Previously, it is asking two times. Just what you have to do, you have to remove strict. You have to remove strict from index.js. So when to use null type? So null is a type defined for values at runtime. At runtime of application. So it is verified by using null keyword. It is verified by using null keyword. Null keyword. So syntactically, we have some price and it is expecting through some prompt. Then we have to write like this. If price is equal to null, then not defined. Otherwise, print the price. That's how we verify. So remove React strict mode from index.js. To avoid compiling two times for development and production. So that you will not regularly observe, but when you try these kind of options, you will see that two times it is asking, two times it is verifying. Then better you remove this React strict mode from index. Right. So this is null type. How to handle the null types, undefined types, and Boolean types. Next, another important is you learned in JavaScript there is a symbol type. JavaScript have a symbol data type. But this symbol type, you know where you use this symbol type? JavaScript have a data type called symbol, and where we use the symbol type, usually we use this in objects. So in objects, we use symbol data type. So that is a new data type of JavaScript. JavaScript symbol type is a primitive type. It is a primitive data type. And what is the purpose of this symbol type? The purpose of this symbol type is nothing but it is used for creating hidden fields. We can create a field and hide the field, but that field is hidden, but you can use that field individually. For that, we use the concept of what? Symbol. When you learnt about JavaScript, when you learnt about the concept of JavaScript objects, you know this symbol, right? So how you use this symbol actually? Here we haven't learnt about object as of now. Later when you learn about object, you will see that generally in JavaScript, how you mention an object is, suppose roughly here I am defining, we are configuring roughly the point like we are defining. Suppose I am creating an var product is an object. Usually this object have an ID. We have an ID and this ID is 1. It is having name. It is some TV. It is having price and it is some price. Now I want to use this product, and wherever I use name and price only should be used. ID should be hidden. That is the requirement generally. We don't want to show the ID, but we want this ID. Then how you will hide an property? How you can hide any property? In JavaScript, what we do? We will create ID as what type? Symbol. Symbol is a data type of JavaScript. And what is advantage of that? This ID can be referred as a symbol in a square brace. This is a symbol type. That means now ID is a symbol type. So this ID is hidden. This ID is hidden. Over iterations, whenever you are reading, whenever you are reading the keys, it will not show the ID anymore. It is not going to display the ID. Individually, the ID works, but ID is not shown. Actually, how to read all the keys? Later you will learn about reading all the keys and all, because generally, you know, for that you need to learn object manipulations and all we need to learn. I will show you a simple technique. So here, let's put this for you. So this is an object and you learned for var property in what is it? Product. We are writing every property here, and you can see that in the properties, it will show that there are only two properties now. One is name, another one price. ID is a property, but it is not showing it. Why? Because it is what type? Symbol. Symbol types are always hidden. Why you are hiding? Because we want to use that internally. We don't want to show it. So in that case, we keep hidden type by using symbol. And individually you can use it. Suppose I am using document.write ID is equal to, if you want to access the ID, product of, what is it? ID. Individually it is going to work. You can see individually it is working fine. But over iterations, wherever you try to read, it is hidden. It is not shown. To create hidden properties, not to display, but use them. So we have to use a new data type of JavaScript. What is it? Symbol. It is a primitive type of JavaScript. In JavaScript primitive type, you learnt all this. The number, string, boolean, null, undefined, begint, and symbol. These are the data types, right? Because if you have to mention about JavaScript, which version you learnt, then usually JavaScript, which version you learnt? ES6 version. Actually, latest version is ES15, but companies still use only ES6. Even in our React also it uses ES6. So you just mention in resume that you know ES6, and ES6 onwards several new data types, several new operators are available in JavaScript. And symbol is a new data type of JavaScript, which is used for creating hidden. These are used only with objects. These are used only with objects. When you use an object, you use this symbol type. So later when we work with object, we will see. As of now, we are not using any object. So later with object, you will see. But it is also which type primitive. So in primitive type, I will give you that. Later, we will use that with object. So symbol, it is a primitive type. It is a primitive JavaScript type. So it is used to configure hidden fields, hidden properties. So hidden property is uh, hidden property is not displayed over iterations, but accessible individually. But accessible individually. Hidden property is not displayed over iterations, but accessible individually. So this is example here. So syntactically, actually, we have an ID. It is a symbol data type. Usually this is used in objects and they are defined as ID. That's how we use them. Later, while working with object type, you can try them. But that is how we use the symbol types. So because it is also a primitive data type of JavaScript, we should know that. And how to use it, we will see now in different example of object. So these are all primitive types. How we have to use the data in React. React, all data types are JavaScript data types, but React will not handle those data types in the same way how it does in JavaScript. So React have little change in this, the data types, how to handle them. Next, important, after understanding this, these are all primitive types. Now we will see how to handle non-primitive types. How do we handle the non-primitive types? JavaScript non-primitive types, already you know what are those. So non-primitive, they are mutable types. So they are stored in memory heap. So they don't have any fixed range for value. Value range varies according to memory available. According to memory available. According to the memory available. So technically, it is according to the memory available. So JavaScript non-primitive types, we are having non-primitive types. What is that? We have an array, we have an object, and we have a map. Arrays, objects, and map. Actually, we also have an weak map, but weak maps are not used regularly, but it is one important type to use also. So these are the non-primitive types: array, object, and map. So how to deal with these in our React? So how to manage, let's see how to work with them in React. So let's see arrays in React, how we manage arrays in React. I'm not explaining anything about array, so those all you have to learn in your JavaScript. I will not explain even a single point about it. Just I will use it, right? It's your problem to learn all those in JavaScript. We will not again tell you about what is array, how it works, what are array methods and all. If you don't know them in JavaScript, then you have to know perfectly them in JavaScript only, right? Here we are just learning how to use it. You already know about arrays, right? So already you know how to configure array, you know about how to read array, how to handle various interactions with array. Array methods you have learned already. Here what is new you will see. Actually, what is the point here is array handling, array configuration. Array configuration is same as in JavaScript. Array configuration is same as in JavaScript. All array methods are used similarly in React.js. All array methods are used similarly in React. Same as you do in JavaScript, here we use all those array methods same. You know all array manipulations, array related methods you learned, right? So array configuration is also same, means how do you declare array, how to store values into array, all these are same. Array manipulation also same. Only the point is in React to present array, we have a smarter technique. In JavaScript to do that, it takes a lot of time. For example, what is problem in your JavaScript, I will show you. You already know JavaScript. Suppose we have a drop down and we are having on load, that is body load. We have a function script. We have a function called body load. We have a array called some categories. In this, it is an array. We are having all, we are having electronics, we are having footwear, we are having fashion like this. Now I want all these elements to be displayed in the drop down. In the drop down, I want all of them. How? All these elements must be inside the drop down. Then how? It's a lengthy process in JavaScript. What is that lengthy process? We use categories, what? Map. Map uses a callback function. It will read every category. And for every category, what we have to do? For every category, we have to create an option element. How? Document dot create element. What is it? Option. And option dot text will be what? Category. Category. And option dot value is what? Category. After creating, we have to add this into drop down. Document dot what? Query selector select into that what? Append child. Which one? Option. This is how we dynamically add data into it. That means in JavaScript, this is how we get the data from an array and add into an element. That's the basic of JavaScript, right? In JavaScript, we have to follow this much lengthy process. I want to get data from an array and display in a drop down or display in a list box or display like an ordered list, unordered list, or display like buttons, then this is a lengthy process. So now this is the complex way how we have to deal. This is the only way. There is no other way in JavaScript. This is the only way how you have to deal with JavaScript. So working with array lengthy thing is now here how it becomes simple, how it is easy in React, right? Let's see how it is easy in React. Suppose I want to display same in an ordered list. Then what to do? To display same in an ordered list, again in the same map, what we have to do? We have to create an li document dot create element. What is it? Li dot what? Append, sorry, li dot inner HTML. What we have to add? Category. After that, document dot query selector access the ordered list and append child into that, add the li. Then it will generate a list item also. That's how arrays are presented. And whenever you make a change inside the array elements, I'm adding some more category here. So some more category, like suppose I'm adding like mobiles something, and you see it will add that here. It is appended everywhere. This is the lengthy way of dealing with arrays in your JavaScript, and this is the only way you have in JavaScript. Is there any other technique? No, this is the only technique we have to use in JavaScript. But React makes it very simple. Let's see how React does. So this is so much logic you have to write. Now how React does this? Let's see. We are creating where, so this is categories is equal to use state. Into that we are declaring an array. And in this we have some values, all electronics and footwear, fashion, all these are present. Now we want to display these categories here. Suppose categories, I want to display them in an ordered list. In an ordered list, I want to display all these categories. So inside ordered list, put a dynamic expression. You have to put a dynamic expression. And actually, how you can read elements from array. To read elements from array, you learned so many array methods, array techniques. So in that, generally you can write a for loop. You can write an iterators. You can't write them here. You cannot write a for loop here. I already told you in JSX statements are not allowed. Then what are the methods used for reading elements from array? To read elements from array, you learned about map. You learned about for each. Am I right? You learned about filter. You learned about find. You learned about slice. This all can read. There are so many array methods. You can use them. But filter will use conditions and get only what are matching. Find will also use the condition and get what is matching. Slice will get between index. To get all of them, the best one is map or for each. And map is the fastest way of reading elements. It is an iterator to do. So what we do is categories is an array. And on that, to read every element from category, we use a map. And here map uses a callback function, you know. That callback function will read every category, and every category we will print here as a list item. Every category we will print as a list item. That means you need to put a dynamic expression and print the category here. You know, this is a shorthand technique, na? JavaScript arrow technique. Callback functions are written in a arrow way. It is a simple shorthand arrow technique. That means we are reading every category, and every category we are printing as what? List item. It is, this implies indicates return. Return what? List item. In list item, put the category, and you can see the categories are ready. That is a simple way here. You don't need to write much logic like JavaScript. It's very simple. Suppose we want to display in a drop down. We want to display in a drop down. So inside the drop down, put a binding expression. And what is the collection name? Categories. Categories dot what? Map. Read every category and return as what? Option. And in the option, we need here the option should contain category name. And all the categories are added into dropdown. They're all added into dropdown. That depends on what you want to design. Suppose I want to design a hyperlink for every category. I want to design a button for every category. Then you can do. Suppose I want to design them like a nav bar. If I want to design them like a nav bar, I'm using a nav. Inside the nav, I will put a dynamic expression. And here I'm using a simple option. What is it? Categories dot what? Map. Read every category. For every category, return a button. And this button will have the category name. And every button will have a class name, BTN and BTN danger something. And you can see it returns a button for everyone. And for that nav bar, what I am doing, I'm applying BG danger and BTN group, and it will display in this way. That means it is going to return like a nav. You can create a button, you can create a drop down, you can create a list. Actually, this you have to do in your JavaScript, it's lengthy. First, you have to create elements. You have to append data into elements, then append those elements into the parent. In JavaScript, this is very lengthy process. In React, it is very simple. You can easily handle arrays presentation by using this technique. You have to just use the function. What is that function? Map. So you can use that and you can implement. So here what we have to do. All array methods are used similarly in React, right? What are the array methods? You know the array methods. What is it? Pop. You have like push. You have like shift. You have like unshift. You have like for each. We have like map. We have find. We have filter. So we have slice. So we have so many options, like we have index of. We have last index of. All these are array methods. Different array methods are there. You can use all of them. By using all different types of array methods, you have to manipulate arrays. So it is easy to present the arrays. It is easy to manage the arrays, right? So how do you configure array? How do we handle the array? Configuration array is same as JavaScript. And you already know how do you configure arrays. Actually, a constant. So we have a constant, some values, and it is equal to use state, and this is an array. You can define the values like this. Or there is another one, right? What is it? Constant values is equal to use state. You can use a new array technique also. New array also we can use. You learned both of them in your JavaScript. You can use this and this. What is difference between them? So you already know the difference. Array meta character is a static memory. Array constructor is a dynamic memory. If you want a continuous memory, use the array meta characters. If you want a discrete memory, then you have to use array constructor. These are very common things. Array, you know the difference. Why to use square brace, why to use new array, when to use them, you know them. So array configuration is same. Array manipulation also same. What is it? Values dot what? Map. It uses a function. This function will read every value and it is going to present the value. Actually, this is the technique we need to manage. For every value, you need to follow this technique. But this is not recommended. This is not recommended. We don't recommend to use function keyword inside JSX. Always it is recommended to use only shorthand technique. Shorthand technique means no function declaration, only function expression. That means you have to use arrow technique. So what you have to do? Values dot map. You have to read a value and you have to return some element. This element is returned for every value. That is how you have to do. And remember, sometimes you people have an habit of writing a value implies this is invalid. You cannot write like this. Element. You cannot write like this. That means this is invalid. Invalid. That means this block should not be there in JSX while returning an element. While returning element, just you have to return the element. You cannot use a block to return the element. So because people who are very familiar with JavaScript, they have a very regular habit of writing a curly brace. This you should not use while presenting an element. You should just present the element. It should not use this block for presenting the element. You have to just present the element. So that is important. Which element? Button or text box or a link or anything. You can return any element. I have shown an example here. Data binding dot what? JSX. In data binding JSX, we have this element. I will copy this. This is the example of array. This is the example of array. Means how we can configure array, how we can read elements from array, and how we can present in U. Now here, one more problem is that what is notice if element is repeating in JSX, then every repeating element must have a unique key. Every repeating element must have a unique key. So every repeating element must have a unique key. That is important. If you don't mention that, now you will have errors. That means you see here, we need to avoid this now. What we have to do is, you see here, what is happening is, in the first case, button is repeating. In the second case, list item is repeating. And here option is repeating. How many times button is repeating? Button is repeating for every element in array. How many elements are there in array? It is repeating those number of times. So how many buttons you created? Only one. And you are duplicating it. When you are duplicating it, every duplicate cannot have the same name. Every duplicate should have a unique name, unique reference. That is very important. Every repeating element must have a unique reference. Otherwise, it will fail in handling it. If all are having same duplicates, duplicate names, duplicate classes, then it is difficult. That's the reason every element that is repeating must have a key. And that key must be unique key. Unique key. That means unique means you can either use the category name or you can use its index number. And you learnt already in map, you can read both value as well as index. How do you read that? You can read both value and index. That means you can use category, and here what you can use index. This index you can use as a key, or you can directly use category also. That means first one will be 0, second one will be 1, third one will be 2. A unique index must be there. Or directly you can use the category name as key. Category name you can use as key. And you see now, for option I am not using a key. Then obviously it will show some error. Output is looking fine, but you can see the error. When you inspect, you can see there is an error here. It is saying that each child in list should have a unique key, and it is missing. And it is missing for only this one. Others it is having. So let's correct this. Option should have what? Key. And key is what? Category. And now it is no problem. That means now there is no issue in this. It's fine. So every repeating element must have a unique key. It is mandatory. Otherwise it shows an error. So in React, when you are repeating, every repeating JSX element should have a unique key. So how do we define that? When you are using some categories dot map, you read every category. Here you have some category and its index. And for every category you are creating a list item, it will have a key. The key is index and the value is category. That is how we need to define. Every repeating element must have a key. It's not necessary to use index. So you have categories dot map. So we are reading every category and implies we are creating an option. Key can be category. The category name you can use as a key also. That's how we define. So this is handling arrays. How we can handle array. We can create a string array or a number array or any type of array, reading values from array and presenting in this way. As I already told you, these are not examples. These are not examples. You still not started any React. You are just getting prepared to learn React. Understood? Don't think that now you are designing some React examples. You are not doing. You are just after all learning basics to start React. That means you are first understanding in your JavaScript how you used to do. In React how it is done. Once you are clear in this, then you are ready for designing examples. These are not examples. These are just only syntaxes to make you understand the difference between your JavaScript and React. React example means they are huge, right? To design such examples, you need to have first idea of how you present your content. That is the first thing you are learning here. Okay. Okay. Now you learned about how to present an array. Now let's see how to present another data type. Array manipulations, as I told you, all are same. Array manipulations are same. Now let's see here. Suppose means conditions also important actually. Suppose I will give one copy here. This is with keys. Data binding dot JSX. Okay. Let's take one point here. Let's create one array. Let's see one example here that when you're dealing with arrays, suppose we are having where some sales, not where we'll use in constant sales is equal to use state. And here we are defining an array, and that array we are having some sales 5,000, 68,000, 32,000, and 78,000, like we are having values. Now what is my requirement here is, so here I want to print sales so above 40,000. I want to print sales above 40,000. What are the sales above 40,000? I want to print them. How? So what we have to do, binding expression. In that we have to use sales. First I need to get the sales above 40,000. Then we have to use dot filter. We have to use filter. You know filter method is there, right? Filter uses a callback. It will take every value and it will return value if it is greater than how much? 40,000. Value greater than 40,000 it will return. Actually now this is filter which will return the value whose value is greater than 40,000. Now this is returning one array of all values which are above 40,000. On that array you have to apply a map. On that array you have to map and read every item, and every item you have to present as a list item, and here I print the item, and every list item needs a key. And what is it? Item is the key we have to define, and you can see that it is going to display those items there. That means sales above 40,000 it will get and display. That means filtering and displaying. Suppose I want to filter, sort, display. You can implement all of them. How do I sort this list? Ascending order, descending order. We have to sort this list. To sort the list in ascending and descending order, what we have to do? To sort in ascending, descending order, we have to apply a sort method on this. Am I right? Suppose I given as what? Sort. I given sort. I given suppose reverse, and on that reverse I applied a sort. That means it is colon not required here. It is going to display reverse and sort. That means in descending order. You can implement all these functions. And what is this mechanism called as adding a function to a function to a function? This is called function chaining. In JavaScript, that is called function chaining. Function currying, function chaining, these are all JavaScript important interview points. In JavaScript interviews, 80-90% all questions they ask related to functions very much. So higher order function, even React. In React also you will get lot of questions related to JavaScript functions. So this is called function chaining. We call this mechanism function chaining. So technically, this is the way how you present your content, right? I present just as an ordered list. You have to use other techniques also. This is example of dealing with what? Arrays. Now sometimes doubt will come like how to deal with arrays. Nested arrays also same. That means can we have a map inside map? Yes. We can have a map inside map. Nested arrays also we can present in the same way. For example, suppose we are having some array like this. So let's create constant, and we have values is equal to what is it? Use state. In this it is an array. In that again an array. 10, 20, 30, another array. So this is like 40, 50, and 60. Now, how you present this? That means it is an array of arrays. Usually you learn these things in general looping statements, how to use them to outer loop, inner loop, am I right? Right? In JavaScript or anywhere you have to use these nested looping statements here. How do you present them here? For example, what we are doing binding, what is it? Values. So here you are using values dot what? Map. Read every value. Read every value. And actually every value we are presenting, but every value is in array. Am I right? Every value is again an array. That means what we are doing here, temporarily, we are printing the in a span. We are returning a span, and here we are using a value. So here use again a binding expression. And this binding expression, just for clarity's sake, I'm in this we will use the value. Value is again an array. We use what map, and we read every item from that, and we will print in a span here. So span I'm using here, and here we want to print the value. What is that value we need to print? We need to print an item. How do you present is important. Actually now the presentation all this 10, 20, 40, 50s. You know line breaks, where to add, how to add the line breaks. Actually, after reading every item, suppose I use a break here. That means after reading every item, because outside the span we cannot use, inside the span I am using a break. That means after every item it will put a displaying side by side, displaying other in different ways can do. The complex data because you have to just know that we use map inside map. Can we have a nested maps? Yes, we have a nested map. That means we can create a nested map and you can present the data. Such data we will see. For that we need to understand array and object. You learn JSON, JavaScript. That means array of objects. How do we deal with objects and work with them? So later you will learn only the first important thing you should know is about how to deal with the arrays. Is it clear? Reading values from array and presenting. And one more important data type is there. Now what is the data type? We have an object type and map. Here we learn about what JSON. We will discuss about what is JSON and how do we handle that. That we'll see in next session. Today what we learned? Today we learned how to present the primitive types, non-primitive. Non-primitive types you learned about array. Now once we finish these data types and start designing examples. That means we have to learn all the data types, then we can try examples, right? Tomorrow we see how to objects, array of objects types, to manage presentations for them. That is very important for React. That we'll see in tomorrow's session. And tomorrow we will share a classroom code, Google Classroom code. From tomorrow onwards, all our will be uploaded into that Google Classroom, right? Online and offline separate classrooms we share. You have to join that to get. Today I will upload everything in the same drive link, right? Tomorrow I will share in YouTube. Okay, we'll continue. And tomorrow by sharp 7:30 we are going to start the session. And once I started the session, no one is allowed into session. If you are late, then please be at your home only. Don't come. Right? After I entered the class and started the class, you are not allowed into my class. Right? Strict that is. Right? We don't take people coming, going. It's not suitable you are not available at 7:30, then change your batch. So you should be before me, right? Once I started, I will not allow anybody into my class. Okay, a lot of disturbance, right? And if I'm not able to come correctly class time, change your batch. This batch will not fit for you. You are not before me. Okay, that is strict. Tomorrow onwards, we will follow this. Okay, right. Thank you.